How's everybody doing? Welcome Tuned Into NoCo. I'm Ashlee Meehleis, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Hearts and Horses Development Manager Kathryn Yuma. So Kathryn, first off, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. For those who don't know, can you explain what Hearts and Horses is all about?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So Hearts and Horses is a therapeutic riding center. We're located in West Loveland on a 23-acre ranch. We provide services for children and adults with physical disabilities, at-risk youth, veterans, and seniors with dementia. So we get to partner these courageous riders with our talented instructors, our dedicated volunteers, and of course, our wonderful equines. We have a herd of about 30 horses made up of horses, mules, and miniature donkeys.
Wow.
Which help us produce results that seem like magic to us. We're a 501c3 nonprofit and a BBB accredited charity. So we rely very heavily on the support of our community to help us serve our about 1,000 riders a year. We have about 700 volunteers that give generously of their time every year. And we work very hard to fundraise about 2/3 of the cost of all of our services to help our riders participate regardless of their ability to pay.
Wow. So 1,000 riders a year, that's pretty incredible. And you mentioned you offer a lot of programs and services, but what's involved in therapeutic riding and how does that help?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we get that question a lot, but I think the most important thing is the natural gait or the movement of a horse stimulates human walking and it in a manner that can't be mechanically replicated.
Really?
So while our participants riding, they're having to make postural adjustments, which help them maintain balance, which helps their overall balance when they're not on the horse. And it gives them kind of better body awareness and orientation in their bodies. And it helps with muscle tone and posture and flexibility. And horses are also really fantastic animals. They offer a non-judgmental relationship. So they accept you however you are, however you present that day. They don't judge you. And they really help you tap into your emotions and help you be present. And yeah, I think it helps in many levels, whether you're doing groundwork or in mounted activities. Horses are incredibly therapeutic.
How neat. So these therapeutic sessions, are they like once a week? How long are they? How do people sign up? What are the details?
Yes. So typically the sessions are about 8 to 10 weeks long. It just varies on time of year. And so participants, come out once a week during the sessions. And they ride from anywhere from 30 to an hour and a half, depending on which program they're in.
Okay. Cool. And these courses are for special needs, but you guys also offer courses for veterans. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So our Hearts and Horses for Heroes program is offered to veterans of every era at absolutely no cost to them. They've already given so much. So we do all that we can to make sure that all of our veterans participating don't have to pay at all for their sessions. And it's an 8-week curriculum that has been specially developed by our team at Hearts and Horses that helps our veterans move through groundwork and mounted activities that help them kind of connect on their emotional side, help them really deepen their awareness of their personal issues and core feelings. And I think it's undeniable that they get a tremendous boost in self-esteem and confidence when you can get a 1,000-pound flight animal to listen to you just by verbal commands.
Yeah.
So it really takes a lot of mental focus and clarity of your intent. And I think it really helps ground our veterans on really connecting with what's important to them and helping them work on their relationships in and outside the arena. We also got to partner with Columbia University in 2020 for the Man of War project,
Really?
Which was a research study trying to discover the benefits of therapeutic riding for veterans with PTSD. So Hearts and Horses was honored to be one of the 3 sites that got to work in that unprecedented study with veterans and PTSD.
Wow, that's incredible. You mentioned groundwork. What's involved in that?
Yeah. So, therapeutic horses can be therapeutic again in many different ways. So, groundwork involves anything from grooming and tacking a horse. We do a lot of equine care, so a lot of stretching. There's a practice called the Masterson method, which is very holistic approaches to horses, and it has proved to be very beneficial with our veterans who aren't able to do any of the mounted activities if they're unable to. So just kind of working with the horses in the round pen, doing lunging. Really, groundwork is anything not mounted.
Gotcha. Okay. And I noticed on your website that you have individuals and groups that do volunteer. So if somebody wants to get involved, where should they go?
Well, I just have to say that Hearts and Horses just simply would not exist without our amazing volunteer force. They are the backbone and primary source of support for us. So really, if you just have experience in life, you don't have to have horse experience. There's a volunteer opportunity for everybody at Hearts and Horses. We have administrative help. We have equine care help. We do barn team every day, excuse me. And if anybody's interested in volunteering, adults or kids over the age of 14 are welcome to come and volunteer on your own.
Cool.
If you're between 8 and 14, you have to have an adult with you. And of course, our group volunteer opportunities are also very important. It's a great way for churches and universities, school groups, high schools, and corporate teams to get involved and kind of do group outings. But if that's something that anybody is interested in, if you go to our website, which is heartsandhorses.org, there's a volunteer tab and lots of really great information there on how to get signed up.
That's awesome. It sounds like a blast, really. So do you guys have any events coming up?
We do. We have our annual fundraising event. It's the Lucky Hearts Gala. It's happening on Saturday, September 24th at the Loveland Embassy Suites.
Cool.
We have a lot of sponsorship opportunities available if that's something anyone's interested in. And we're also working right now on building up our live and silent auction, which is kind of a centerpiece of the event.
Cool.
So if anybody has interest in sponsoring or donating an item to the live or silent auction, we are open and ready for all donations. Our auction is a mobile auction, so any item that is donated will be featured in the mobile auction for our guests at the event, and really anybody all over the world can access our event because it's online.
Cool. What items are you guys accepting for donation?
We have a long list of wish lists. So really unique experiences usually do pretty well in auctions. So things that someone can't just go buy off the street. Adventures, things to do with families are great. Artwork is always good. Little unique items that, again, aren't able to be found. We do a lot of special events like a dinner at the firehouse. That's always donated every year. That's very popular. Trips are always fun. But really unique, one-of-a-kind items usually do very well in our auction because, again, it's one-of-a-kind items.
Well, that's great. Awesome. So kind of switching gears here, how did you get involved in this? What's your story?
Well, I have a deep love of animals and people alike. And I got very, very lucky when my husband and I relocated to northern Colorado in 2018. I was driving by Hearts and Horses, and we have the big sign saying volunteers needed. And I went to the website, and they were actually hiring for a development position. So the stars really aligned for me there, and
wow.
I found my way onto the staff at Hearts and Horses. But I also volunteer on Mondays in the barn team. Really fills my tank there to get in the dirt and muck and help take care of the herd and connect with the barn team out there. And then, of course, I work in the development office to help continue to expand our funding to make sure that our programs are easily accessible to anybody in need.
Wow. So you stay pretty busy, huh? That's
yes,
awesome.
I like it that way.
Really cool. Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
Sure. I think with this audience, we are currently searching for a stocky, large breed horse or three for us to either purchase. Horses can be donated or we can lease large breed horses to serve in our veterans and youth at risk programs. The ideal candidate would, of course, love people, have a calm and steady temperament. We're looking for some equine that is 15.2 to about 16.3 hands tall, that is sound and, of course, well trained, and ideally between 8 and 16 years old. So if anybody has a possible candidate in mind or may know of anyone that may help us find a suitable steed for our program, we would love to hear from you. And anybody that would have a lead there, if you want to visit our website at heartsandhorses.org /our herd. We've got more information on how to get in touch with our team to see if the equine would be a good fit for our program.
Perfect. Well, Kathryn, thanks so much for speaking with me today. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for thinking of us, Ashlee. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you guys heard that. If you want more information or you just want to talk to a member of their team, you can reach them at heartsandhorses.org.